I used to have this therapist after I had radiation treatment, and
It was back in the day. It was back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day, and he had kind of like a Buddhist background and flair, so he was really into like meditation and stuff. But he had this quote that I love, and it's the most important thing is to remember the most important thing. And so, you know, life is life, and if it goes whichever direction, I mean, that's the most important thing, right? So I just trust that.
What is the most important thing for you in life?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I think it's being in alignment.
You talked about that. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's explore this.
Okay.
Let's explore being in alignment. What does it mean when somebody says, "Are you in alignment in your life?" So how do you describe it?
Yeah. So I used to think, like old Risa used to think it meant living a very rigid, structured life and having everything lined up, planned out, and perfect. And then I went through a whole bunch of like therapy and personal healing and, you know, learned about all different kinds of modalities and healing stuff. And I realized, oh my gosh, it has nothing to do with actual stuff. It's a feeling. It's a feeling inside. And so when people would be like, oh, just let it flow, just, you know, and everything would just work out, I was like, you're crazy. Like I have to hold on tight and make it work out. And that's not it at all. When I let go is when it just feels aligned. Like things just happen and it feels easy and light. And so that's not at all articulate, but that's
Wait,
like the best way.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You said let go of what? Because we all hear this let go thing. But what is letting go? What do we let go of? What is surrendering? So there's just too many questions all in one, but
For
what
me,
did you have to let go of?
yeah. So, oh gosh, you're asking such great questions. So for me, it's a control. Like I was always the rigidity and having everything lined up and in my mind, perfect. It was all about control. Like I was always trying to control outcomes or control the way things happened or control the way my life played out. And as soon as I learned, like, okay, nothing's in my control. It's like an illusion. Like I thought I was making it all happen, you know, but that's not really the case. So maybe I'm a contributor, but, I had to really just allow, like if things didn't go according to plan, just, just allow it to happen. And man, when I eased up, like if I was 10 minutes late, it usually always worked out. Like it always worked out. So, and if I was 10 minutes late, I was 10 minutes late for a reason. I don't know. I'm not being very graceful with the way I'm describing this, but
no, you said
about what we're talking about.
you saying very important and necessary words that really resonated with me so deeply. So the word allow for me, my own journey, I learned to allow life to happen and unfold without me forcing the outcomes. Of course, we are going to do our part. We are going to contribute to life, to our journey. But like you said, and I'm getting chills when I'm talking about this because the experience for me was so meaningful also, that life brings you to a certain point where you have no other choice and no other option but surrendering. And surrendering is not weakness. It's actually very powerful if you think about it. Because once you surrender to life and what life has to offer, then you know that you don't really have to suffer too much, or you have to force things and you have to be drained all the time to try to make things happen. Does that
Yes,
make sense?
absolutely. And I think we get caught up in the way things have to happen, and because I reflect back on everything I've accomplished or everything I set out to do, and a lot of times there were hard pivots, like where I had to go a completely different direction, but I still ended up in the place I wanted to end up. And
Ooh.
so yeah, the journey too, letting go of what the journey looks like.
Who is Baba?
Um, so Baba is what I named or my brain tumor, and he's hilarious. And I would guess I would say he's my inner voice, but you know, I have a dark sense of humor, and I didn't even know it. Someone told me that one day, and I was like, "Oh, is that what that is?" But Bubba helps me to take life way less seriously. So,
Could we
so
go back in time when he was Cree? Is that okay? Talking about that?
mhm.
When when I'm gonna use this phrase, so please take it as however you take it and interpret it as how you would. When did you create Baba?
So, when I was first diagnosed, I was uh I was going through a 2-year Gestalt training program.
Right.
And for the listeners who might not know what Gestalt is, it's like a holistic approach to like mental health work and healing, really. So emotional healing. Um, I went into this program thinking I knew everything, but I was going to get this certification and become a coach and coach everyone else and tell them what to do with their lives. Meanwhile, I already knew everything, right? So,
But we
geez.
all do in a way, right? Don't we all?
Yes, and so now I realize I know absolutely nothing. But I was in this training program, and my instructor, who has a very kind of new agey approach and view on life, was kind of coaching me through a piece of work about around, because I was so mad at my body. I was this, endurance athlete and very sharp, detailed person. And now I'm like, what? I have this big tumor at the base of my brain. Like I was always so healthy and rigid about how I treated my body. Um and so I had this very kind of negative um view of this diagnosis and stuff. Like almost like I can't believe this is happening to me and what a waste of time. And my instructor is like, what if you started talking nicer to yourself and to your body? And what if you like named your tumor and started like encouraging your tumor to go into retirement when you have your brain surgery, where like just talk
Oh.
nice, vision your tumor leaving your body easily during that surgery. And I was like, again, I knew everything, right? So I was like, that's ridiculous. I'm not doing that.
Is that your Gestalt therapy
Yes.
coach? Okay.
Yes. And
Okay.
so one day I'm driving in my car. I think I was driving. I had to get regular blood work and I had so many medical appointments. It was insane. Like, because I had a 3 month period between diagnosis and my brain surgery. So I had all these tests and labs I had to get done. And so I'm driving to yet another appointment and I start talking to my tumor. And it was like this funny, like reluctant, like, okay, if you're in there and you can hear me, and what would I name you? What would your name be? And I just kept, like, Bubba kept coming to mind because I was just thinking of this big, goofy, oafish kind of personality. And when I saw my tumor on my MRI, it was just kind of this blob that had like a little head and his arm was kind of wrapped around my carotid artery and it just looked like kind of this lumpy blob of gray mass. And so I'm just like, Bubba. And I was like, but that's not cool. Like, that's not even cool. And so I'm trying on all these other names and Bubba is what stuck. And so that's how my tumor became Bubba.
Listen, I love this so much. This is amazing. How did your connection with Baba happen like organically, or did you have to struggle accepting it as being part of you?
I think, and I get caught up in this sometimes still to this day, but I think I saw it as this business transaction of like, okay, you validated what I was feeling for 7 years because it took 7 years for me to get diagnosed. So now you're diagnosed, you validated me, time to go. Like, I got to get back to my life. Like, all right, you did your job. Yes, yes, and yes. Now I know it's wrong. I knew something was wrong all along. And I still wasn't quite humbled yet. I was like, let's just in and out. But then he decided he wasn't going to retire. He wasn't fully operable, so just partially operable. So some of it, there's some remnants of him left in there and still causing damage and wreaking havoc on my body. But I was like, oh, nothing's going to be the same. I have to learn how to live with you. I have to learn how to live with Bubba. So, big lesson there.
What do you think he has been trying to teach you about you that you have been maybe neglecting about you, or what was the lesson that you have learned?
Yes, I think, well, it's interesting where he is. He's at the base of my brain, kind of where the pituitary gland is, and the pituitary gland is the control center of the body. It tells the rest of the body what to do. And so one, I had to let go of control, which is the one thing I was trying to create in my life. And I could get into I had a crazy dysfunctional childhood, and so I had to figure out where to control my environment, right? And so that just carried into my adulthood, and I don't like over analyzing things, but you get these moments of like, oh, well, gosh, that would make sense. And so control was a big one. And also, I was so busy trying to control and plan my life I did not realize it was actually passing me by. Life
Oh,
was passing me by, and there was all these things I still wanted to do that I was still planning to do someday. And it's like, but I'd been talking about them for like 10 years, maybe longer, 20 years. And so, how about stopping and embracing the moment, being in your life now and not waiting for the someday of I'm going to do that someday. And so yeah, letting go, like control was a big thing, and embracing my life. It was, yeah, my gosh.
I wanted to ask you this next. You kind of touched on it a little bit here. I wanted to ask what would be the difference between surviving in life, being in a survivor mode, rather than participating in it?
Gosh, wow. Yeah, that's a big question. Um, how would I answer that? Well, participating in life is way more fun. My gosh.
For sure.
I was missing out on so much. I was missing out on connection, which is such a top value of mine. I love connecting with people. Was missing out on all the things that were on my bucket list that I wanted to try and do, and missing out on new experiences. Um, yeah, I just got to a point one day where it was almost like I realized that I might not have had control over the things I wanted to control, but I had control on how I responded to this,
Okay.
how I was going to adapt to it. And it's I realized really one day it was a choice. Like it was a choice that I could make of like being here or being here. And I chose to live. I chose the participating in life. And oh my gosh, once I made that decision, look out. I was I was not looking
Conceptual.
back.
Do you think we do know human beings? Do you think we know deep inside what to do, but we just don't do it? We
Yes.
all do.
You're on to something. Absolutely. I think it's in there, and I don't know if we forget or we get stuck in roles that we think we're supposed to be in, or the shoulds, um, things we should do or should be. Um,
Why do you think some of us need permission to be authentic?
oh gosh.
What is authenticity, and why do we need permission to be who we are?
Yeah. Wow. Gosh, you're brilliant with your questions. I think it's all fear-based. Like fear, it's like we want to be seen, but we're afraid to be seen.
Ooh, let's take true. True.
Yeah, what if we're not accepted? Or my fear is, and I tell this story a lot, but I was in a therapy session, and I remember, I don't remember what I was talking about, but I was the therapist was asking me like, "Well, are you afraid to be yourself? Like, are you afraid to be authentic and be seen?" And I was grabbing my chest, and I was like, "Oh, I just want to unleash. I just want to unleash." And I didn't know what that meant. But there was something inside of me that wanted to break out and break free. And so I remember a friend saying, "Huh, Rissa unleashed." And that stuck with me, of like, oh my gosh, that for me, that means being seen, being authentic, being who I want. And not, it doesn't have to be in a big way. For me, it was, I actually love fashion. So like wearing more fun clothes.
Right.
And I always kind of ate the food and on the schedule according to someone else, but now it meant how do I want to grocery shop? So it doesn't have to be big things, but for me, those were big things. It was breaking free out of the roles that I assumed over time. Like, the roles that, I can't really blame other people for putting me in those roles. I'm the one that took on those roles. And so to me, it was like breaking free from all of that.